knows motivation is extremely important. I mean, one misbehaved student can ruin a class. One misbehaved student can ruin an entire week of classes, can even ruin an entire course. Likewise, on the other side though, one student or a bunch of students who are super engaged and super motivated to do the work can make the class absolutely the best ever. And I've had both. I've had kids who are just, oh my gosh, can I help you please? And then other students who I'm like, I could have 30 of you in the class and this would be amazing. The students who are on task are going to learn more. They're going to pay more attention to what's going on. They're going to hear the instructions. They're going to ask the questions. They're going to be involved. Whereas the students who are off task, obviously they're missing information. They're missing instructions and directions. They're not engaged because they're off task, and so they're not asking clarifying questions and so on and so forth. So they're never really going to get deep into it. We know that people only do what they want to do. That's the essence of motivation. You do what you want to do. Now, you may do it because you're afraid of consequences. You may do it because you want the reward. Whatever it is, you still choose what you want to do. To say somebody is unmotivated is to assume that person is either not alive or they're in a coma. Because everybody is watching and listening and gathering information through their senses constantly, are always paying attention. What we have to figure out as teachers is how do we get our students to pay attention to what we want them to pay attention to? And so right now, as you're watching this video, you may have some coffee, you may have some cookies. There's sights and there's sounds, there's all sorts of things, even smells going on around you, but you're choosing to focus in on this video. And that is the power of choice. It's the power of motivation. You are determining in which direction you're going to give your attention. And that's how humans are able to do so many things at once, is because our brains are constantly filtering out all the things that are happening. So selecting the thing in which you're going to focus on, that you're going to motivationally direct yourself, is what we need to be able to do with our students. I read about this teacher who had a group of boys in her class. And the kids, the boys, they were just not interested at all in what the teacher was teaching. Okay, again, not unusual. This is about the time, early 2000s, I believe, when skateboarding was really, really popular again. And so these boys were all skateboarders. And so in her mind, these kids were unmotivated, they were lazy, they certainly were not good students, they didn't want to do the work, and they didn't seem to care. All they wanted to do was go out and skateboard. And so one day she was driving home from work, and she saw the kids, and they were out at the skate park, and so she kind of stopped and watched them for a while, and she watched over the course of 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, that the kids were repeatedly falling off their skateboards. Looks like it hurts, but they're getting up again and they're getting on their skateboard. And they're doing it over and over and over again. They're laughing and they're enjoying each other's company. She went back a couple hours later, and guess what? Kids are still out there. They were out there for hours and hours, probably like that every day. And what she realized was, these kids are not lacking motivation. What they're lacking is direction in their motivation. And that's key. Because in order to engage students into lessons, we have to do something. And so what this teacher did is she realized, I can't compete with skateboarding, but what I can do is bring that into the classroom. And so she literally started talking about skateboarding, asked the kids about skateboarding, but then she asked them to bring in the skateboard and to teach her something like how to stay in it. And she recalls standing on the board, on the skateboard, and having a student just kind of gently push her across the room, and she kind of just rolled, and all the kids thought it was hysterical. They thought it was wonderful. And what she did in that is she entered their world. Now, things weren't all, roses and unicorns and all that and rainbows. What happened was she broke through the barrier and her mindset changed. Well, she realized that it's not them who are unmotivated. It's that I need to figure out how to get them to be motivated for my subject.